Hello everybody, welcome back to another video, and today we are back with another Paint 3D video. And in this video, we're gonna be doing a remaster of the old video, or my first video, how to draw characters in the BFDI style. Now, we're doing a remaster of this because my old BFDI style looked like poo-poo, so let's get started. Now right here, I'm gonna be drawing a bingo marker. So what I'm gonna do is get some reference images of some bingo markers, and I'm going to choose a color, which I'm gonna choose this purple one. Alright, now we can get started. I didn't want to actually copy everything on this, but I just wanted to copy the main shape of it. Now let's color the asset in. Then we can add some basic shading to make it look nicer. There we go. The main asset is done. Now what I actually want to do is, here's like the main wrapper part. I want to add something in here that like says basically what it is. And for this we're going to the website FontSpace. I'll leave a link in the description to this website. It's a good place to get your fonts. So I'm just going to find my usual Mario and Luigi font. Now, here's the reason I wrote this all in one word. We can just grab all of these little tiny letters and words and put them onto the wrapper. We can also color this purple text to give it more of a nicer look. I'm going to turn this color pink because it's pretty close to purple and we can't use actual purple here. I actually like to design this area a bit more, so we could kind of add some cool little shapes here. Alright, now we can get rid of this because we finished the main design of the asset. So, I actually really liked how this turned out, so we can start with the limbs now. With the limbs, I usually like to keep my thickness at 10 to 15. Right here I'm going to be using 15. And you will see how this is done. After we draw a little line, we can draw a simple circle, or you could draw a little arm connected to it, which is what I do usually. So let's see if that fits it well. I actually don't think it fits it that well, but that's probably because I did not do that correctly. See, whenever you add a thumb, you always want to make it smaller than the actual hand itself. You don't want to make the thumb too big or it'll look uncanny. But again, I'm just going to stick with this and see how it turns out in the end. I'm going to put the arm behind its back and there. And Paint 3D doesn't actually have layers, so you'll have to compromise. I think that looks pretty nice. Now we can start with the legs. I usually like to hand draw the legs, but if you want it to look a bit nicer, then you can always do a straight line. Now for the harder part. You need to actually bring it from the bottom of it, make sure there's a very thin little crevice here, and then you can fill in the rest of the leg. Then you have yourself a BFDI leg. Of course you can take the assets from the website, but if you want to give it that hand-drawn look, then you want to do it this way. I'm going to be redrawing the arms, that's why I'm taking them off here, and yeah. Alright, so I feel like I actually figured out the problem here. And it's because I'm not getting the correct pose for this character. See, there are other poses you can do for other types of characters. For the thin characters, like pen or marker, for instance, you usually want to keep them in a pretty simple pose, like this. Larger characters like Eraser or Blocky, you can do more precise poses, but you usually want to stick with a small little pose for these types of characters. And you can see that's already looking much better. Now let's draw the arms with this style instead. You always want to keep one arm behind the asset and one arm in front of the asset. This makes it look a bit nicer. But when you're doing poses like this, where they're looking in the air, sometimes it does look a bit nicer to keep both arms behind. Now let's go with the eyes. There are lots of ways you can make BFDI eyes. Now, what I'm gonna do is make these type of eyes. These are pretty simple. They're kind of just like rainbows, but without the clouds and without the colors. They turn out like this. I'm gonna make them a bit nicer before I move on to telling you what other eyes there are. Here we are, and now we have the eyes. You could also give your character eyelashes, but I don't really like doing that in this style because they're not used that much on girl characters or boy characters. So I would say just don't do them. Now, here are some types of eyes you can do. You can of course stick with the simple one, which looks like this. You can stick with the angry one, which looks like this, which isn't used in the show a lot, but it can still make your characters look pretty nice. Or you could do what I did and do one that looks like this. Now we can go with the mouth. Now there are other types of mouths you can do, but I'm gonna make this one open. You could make it an entire open smile with no tongue, or you can add a tongue. Either way, I just like tongue more, so I'm gonna add it. If you want to make a closed mouth, I like always showing teeth. So let me show you how that works. Let's say this is her mouth. Kind of poorly drawn, but it should be fine. Then we could draw all the teeth in the character's mouth. Then we could color them in. And voila! Right there, you have your teeth. Slapped on with a few eyes, and your character's face looks pretty nice. Anyways, back to our character. Now, our character's basically done. So, let's take a look at it. Notice anything we're missing? Well, it's something a bit optional. If you see the eyes, it's not the eyelashes, but eyebrows. You can add eyebrows to the characters, as they are used a lot in the show, but sometimes they're not even shown, so it really doesn't matter if you do them or not. I'm gonna see if any eyebrows fit my character, but if not, I'll just keep this. And it looks like I'm keeping this design. Let's add a few more finishing touches. Now that our character is finished, we can export and get it sent to a friend or just publish it to a bunch of people. Whatever you want to do with the character, really. And now, your character in the BFDI style is done. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.